All right, let's move on to Michigan. Michigan had a weird year last year. They're 8-5, 5-4 in conference. They obviously had the big win over Ohio State. They returned 13 returning starters. Um, I think the biggest thing I like about Michigan this year, they bring back 3 offensive linemen that started at least 6 games last year, including center Greg Crippen, El Hadi, and then right tackle Evan Link. I feel like they were a little struggleless. They struggled a little bit at the beginning of last year with the offensive line. It improved as the year went on. They obviously got Bryce Underwood, the number 1 quarterback recruit out of high school. I don't know if he's ready for prime time yet. They got a transfer to come in as well. I think he has a few games to start to, if he's going to play, he might have to go for some lumps. Gets like Oklahoma and Nebraska. But their schedule sets up pretty decently. They have to go at Oklahoma. They have to go at Nebraska. They have to go at USC. They have to go at Michigan State. They have to go at Maryland. Then they play Ohio State. So they have quite a few tough road games. So it's going to be a weird, kind of a weird one for Michigan. You got to think that the defense will be pretty solid, but can the offense pick it up this year? That's going to be the big question. So, Jordan, what do you think? What's the record for Michigan?
I think they're how does Michigan get these? I mean, wasn't last year's schedule really easy? Well, not to Michigan, but
I mean, they
to all
still
of
had
us.
like Texas and stuff on the schedule last year.
Yeah. So
They,
I
they just
think
replaced Texas for Oklahoma this year, basically.
yeah, I think the ceiling for Michigan is a lot better than its 8-5 last year. Um, I think Bryce Underwood, like you said, Tony, I don't know if he's ready for this prime time light, but I think it's going to help that their first game's New Mexico at home. I think if he starts that game, I think it's going to ease him into it. I think the biggest thing for Michigan, and it was last year, they could have done the same, been decent, better last year if they had a quarterback. I think they didn't have anything last year. As long as Bryce Underwood could throw the ball accurately at points, I think Michigan could easily go all the way undefeated up until the Ohio State game, and then go from there. Because I feel like there's a big with the Big Ten. There's a big separation in the top teams and the bottom teams, and I think Michigan this year, with the quarterback and a lot of returners on the offensive side, where honestly a lot should have probably transferred. So I think Michigan can definitely get better. I think at least 10 wins this year, at the most, and then maybe just one loss going to that Ohio State game, or just some random like at Michigan State or at USC.
Okay. Jess, what about you, sir?
I mean, they had 7, 8 wins last year. I think their line is set at 8.5 for their win total, and I think that's pretty good. I mean, it's so hard. Like, Notre Dame had that bizarre loss last year to Northern Illinois, so anybody can lose to anybody. But I think with some of the returning talent, with some teams might look a little better. Like, I think Nebraska and Wisconsin will look a little better than they did last year. But I think Michigan, gets Wisconsin at home. They get Washington at home. They get Purdue at home, and I think they'll probably finish with a slightly better record last year. I think I see them winning like 9, maybe 10 games, being a fringe playoff team, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule. I think best case scenario is a 9-3 type of season for them. I feel like Oklahoma is going to be better this year with the transfer quarterback, transfer running back that they got, and then also got some receivers to come in. So I feel like they're going to be pretty set on the offense this year. It's just that defense can continue to raise its level. That they'll be a little better. At Nebraska is always a little bit of a challenge. I think they can handle that. I think USC is going to be better this year, and they had a really close game last year, and I think they're going to USC this time, so that might be a loss from this year. At Maryland is a little tricky, and then Ohio State, you just never know what's going to happen in those games. So 9-3, I think they may be able to squeeze in a 10-2. I don't see much else happening, but
They are
yeah,
getting Rod Moore back.
they are. I mean, defense, I think they're going to be fine. I'm still just have a lot of question marks on the offensive side. Like, I need to see it. Like, look at the spring game. The offense wasn't there yet. Give them a whole summer to work on it. Maybe it is there in the fall. So
They got the new offensive coordinator, Lindsey. So maybe that'll help them.
Yeah, and it might take a little bit of time with his system too. You can't just like spring game is not the greatest, way to show how the offense is going to look in August or September. So we'll see how they turn around there. All right, I'm interested to talk about